How do you go from a 4-figure content earning creator to a 6-7-figure content earning creator? One word: pitch. Today we are talking about how to pitch the brands that you want to get the jobs that you need to create the income that you dream of. Let's go. Hi Lovies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Fumi Ford. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a content creator, but she's a Naija babe. Nigerian born. My channel is all things fashion, beauty, content creation, luxury, and entrepreneurship. So today we are putting on our work cap and we are talking all things content creating and how to monetize your influence. Today we are focusing on how to pitch brands. I have 2 other videos on how to become a content creator and how to generate income as a content creator. I will link them down below, as well as other blog posts that are going to help you be that boss babe that you want to be. But today we are focusing on how to pitch like a pro. I do have a blog post on this and I will also link that below. But let's get into how to turn that in-kind or free work into paid work and how to generate income that's going to help you come off your job. There's a saying that says the early bird gets the worm. A closed mouth does not get fed. And I think when we get into content creation, we just expect that viral video to drive all the brands to us. And sometimes that works. Sometimes you'll have 1 or 2 or 3 viral videos that will bring all the brands your way. But for most of us, that doesn't happen. Most of us, it's years and years and years of putting in work for maybe 1 viral video every 5 years. And we have to learn how to pitch and woo the brands that we want in order to get where we need to get monetarily and to be able to supplement our income or even get rid of our work and just have content creation be our main income. I know a lot of influencers that have 100,000 followers making less than $50,000 a year. And I know influencers with 20,000 followers or less making 100,000 plus a year. And the difference is creating relationships and pitching the brands that you create relationships with. So let's talk about the first step when it comes to pitching. Pitching is like dating. I heard somebody say that once before and it stuck with me. Pitching is like wooing a beautiful woman or a good-looking 6-foot muscly 6-figure income earning man into your life. You might get a lot of results just going up to them and saying, hey, I like you, you look good. But a lot of times what happens is friendships and relationships build into long-term partnerships. So if you want to woo a brand, you want to make sure that you are forming a relationship with them. So the first step to pitching, which a lot of people don't talk about, is building a relationship with that brand. So you ask, how do I build a relationship with a brand? 1, create content around their products. I'm not saying do a bunch of posts just for them, but talk about them organically in your stories. Talk about them on your feed. Let's say you're a fashion influencer and you do a fashion haul and Target is a brand and Walmart is a brand and Boohoo is a brand and Louis Vuitton is a brand. Tag all of these brands in your post. You don't have to do one dedicated post to that brand, but let's say you do a haul. Let's say you're a food blogger. Tag all the brands that you are making that recipe with. Let's say you're a travel blogger. Tag all those hotels and tag visit Chattanooga, visit Vegas, visit Louisiana, visit UK. Tag all of those brands and all of those locations into that post, into those stories. Because what happens is that when you are ready to send that email, They can go back and look at the DMs and say, oh my goodness, this girl has been organically talking about us for years. I remember when I started working with Amazon, I tagged them in my post for about 2 years before I ever got an email from the marketing department. And when I finally got that email, I asked them, how did you find me? And they said, well, we found you because you tagged us in so many things and because you tagged us in your Like to Know It. And if you don't know what Like to Know It is, it's LTK. It is a platform where you can tag different brands and get commissions and get paid when other people buy from your links. I do have a blog post on this and I will put that in the description as well. But they said, we found you because you tagged us and because you drove sales to our site. And so before you reach out to that brand, organically create content around that brand. Because if I am a business owner and I'm selling shoes and I come to your site and you talk about my shoes, guess what? I am probably going to want to work with you because you've already introduced your audience to my brand. You already talked about me before I even paid you. And so I'm not saying create content just for one brand, but talk about the brands that you love organically. It's also going to build trust with your audience. And so if your audience sees you and you've always talked about Target, and then all of a sudden you have a Target collaboration, it makes sense. Your audience trusts you because you've already given them Target finds. You've already given them must buy from Targets. And so when they see the hashtag paid, they're like, dang, Fumi, congratulations. Because you've been talking about Target for years. You've been showing me what Target has to offer. So I know that this paid collaboration fits into your brand and you're not just trying to sell me something, but you've already been showing me what Target had to offer. And so the first step to pitching is creating trust with your audience with different brands and talking about the brands that you love so that when it's time to actually pitch, they already know this girl is for us. And then you can show them the DMs where people went and bought. You can show them tags. You can show them the comments when people said, oh, I went to Target because of you, or I went to Express because of you, or I went to this, and you are able to charge more because your audience is already in love with the brand and it just makes sense and you guys are aligned. So that's the first step in pitching. It's a quarter where a lot of influencers make a lot more money because it's the holidays. Pitching is essential. Don't wait for the brands to come to you. Go ahead and get ready. The first step to pitching, like I said, is creating organic content and relationship with that brand. The second thing is reaching out to the brands that you have already worked with. For the last 6-7 months, you have been creating content with brands. You already have the email address for these brands. Start pitching the brands that you've worked with, the brands that you've reached out to, and the brands that you've worked with 2, 3, 4, 5 years in the past. I don't care if it's been 5 years. If you have worked with them, you have their email address. So go ahead and pitch the brands that you have already worked with. That is just low-hanging fruit. A lot of times us influencers, we're always looking for the next brand to pitch and we forget to pitch the brands that we've already created relationships with. So go ahead, write a list of the brands that you've worked with, get their email addresses because it's already in your email, and start pitching them. The next step to pitching like a pro is getting those email addresses. One of the biggest questions I get is, Fumi, how do I find the email addresses for these brands that I love? The easiest way you do it is through the DM. And it goes back to step 1 when I said create content organically for that brand. A lot of times when you're creating stories, the brand will come and like the story. They'll come and comment, thank you so much. Go ahead and send an email and say, oh, thank you so much. I would love to reach out to your marketing department. Please send me the email address. As soon as that brand comes and gives you feedback on that post, on that story, ask them for an email address. That is the easiest way and the quickest way to get an email address so that you can go ahead and start formulating that pitch for that brand. Now that you've gotten that email, you've started creating organic content, you've started DMing different brands, you've started getting the emails. What goes into a pitch email? What makes a pitch email an email that a brand wants to open? Let me start out by saying pitching happens months, weeks, months before a season starts. So it's already the fourth quarter. It's okay to pitch for 2022. It's okay to pitch for Christmas and Thanksgiving. But if you want to make sure that you get into that budget for the upcoming season, you want to pitch months ahead. So you want to start pitching for January, February, back to school content now so that you are on the radar of the brands when the time comes. So as an entrepreneur, you don't want to wait for the jobs to come to you. You want to go out and fish. You want to go out and put feelers out. You want to go out and put emails out. You want to go out and make sure that you are on the radar of those brands. Now that you have the email addresses, you've created a relationship, what goes into a really great pitch email? I'm going to pull out my handy dandy notebook, i.e. my cell phone, and we're going to go over some of the things that you need to look at when you're sending out that pitch email. One, make sure that you know a little bit about the brand that you're pitching. I love a copy and paste job, but at the end of the day, I've seen so many influencers copy and paste a brand pitch email with the name from a marketing exec from another brand, or the details of another brand in the email for a new brand. You want to make sure that you are going through and not just copying and pasting email after email, but you are specifically talking about the brand. Look up the brand, see any new initiatives that they may have so that you can put it into the email. You want the email to be short and concise, but you want it to have some meat to the bones of that email. So make sure you're doing a little bit of research. Secondly, you want to include in the pitch email an intriguing subject line. You know, I know a lot of influencers that just do Fumi Ford X Target or Britney X Publix. That's great. That works too, but a great way to catch the attention is Fumi Ford, the influencer that you need, or something intriguing, something eye-catching, something popping, something that's going to make them stop, open that email, and want to learn a little bit more about you. Make sure in the subject of that email, you do put your name or your handle in it as well. Make sure that in the body of the email, you include hello to the person or to whom it may concern, or to the brand manager. If you know their name, that's even better. And then also include statistics. And a lot of times you get emails and it's just, hi, I want to work with you. Okay, great. Who are you? Where are you from? How did you know about us? What are some statistics? Who's your audience? Who are the people that follow you? What's your demographic? Brands want to know these things. It just makes it easier and makes them more likely to want to work with you than if they have to go look it up. You want to make the work of the brand manager as easy as possible, because I promise you, if you're emailing 300,000 other people are emailing and they have their statistics in their body. And if you don't want to have that in the body of your text, have your media kit. Have your media kit attached to the email or on your website. A great way to do is just to add a link, and when they click it, it will take them to the website and your media kit is laid all out there for them. If you don't know what a media kit is, I'm going to put a link to a blog post that I did talking about what a media kit is. You want to make sure that your statistics include your monthly views if you have YouTube, TikTok, your monthly views, your engagement rate, if you are on Instagram, and your audience demographics. So it's 70% of your audience women. There are a lot of brands that want mostly women. There are a lot of brands that are looking for black women. So if your demographics are black women, if your demographics are women of a certain age, if your demographics are mostly men, put that. It makes it so much easier. They don't have to click out to go look for it. It's already laid there for them. The next thing you want to do is include any major brand work that you've done, and that can be in your media kit, any brand work that you've done. Most of the time when brands are looking for influencers, they want to be able to see that you have worked with a brand before. They want to be able to see that if they give you their product, you're going to know what to do with it. So in your media kit, include links to brand work that you've done before, especially if the brand work is similar to what that brand is looking for. And then you want to be truthful and speak genuinely. You don't want to pad your numbers. You don't want to lie. You don't want to make it seem like you're more than you are. Speak genuinely about you, your audience, where you're from, your statistics, and leave it up to the brand to decide whether they want to work with you or not. I surveyed one of my favorite brand managers, and she sent me a couple of things that you don't want to do when you're writing your pitch email, and that is one, don't be long-winded. No brand manager wants to read a 2-page email. They have enough emails coming in. Keep it short, sweet, concise, to the point, but with the relevant information that they need. At least 2 paragraphs at most is all that needs to be in that pitch email. The pitch email is to grab their attention, and when they ask for more, then you can go more in depth. 2, don't diminish your accomplishment or status. Don't say, oh, I only have 10,000 followers, but I would love to work with you. Oh, I only do 10,000 views on my videos, but I want to. Don't diminish it. Don't talk bad about yourself in the pitch email. Say, I have 10,000 amazing fans, influencers. I have 10,000 amazing followers that will love to hear about what's upcoming for this season. I have 10,000 amazing followers that will love this recipe that I would make with your product. Talk yourself up, sis. Don't talk about bringing the brand exposure. Most brands don't need your exposure, just to be honest. They don't need, unless they're a small brand, most big brands don't need your exposure. So don't say, I'm going to bring you to my audience. My audience has never heard of you. I'm going to help showcase you. It's belittling the brand, and it really doesn't come off great. So don't talk about what you're going to bring exposure-wise to the brand. Just like you don't want the brand paying you in clothes for exposure, the brands don't want you telling them you're going to bring them exposure. They already think they have exposure. 4, do come up with specific ways you can help the brand. And that's one thing that I said. Look at initiatives that the brands are doing. Look at upcoming collaborations that they're having. Look at upcoming recipes that might be good for them. Let's say winter's coming and you're a food blogger. What are some recipes that you could do with their brand? You don't have to flesh out the entire recipe, but just simply saying, I would love to make a cocktail with your signature drink for my audience. I would love to showcase a sweater for this season for my audience. I would love to come to your hotel and showcase the different amenities that your hotel may have. So it doesn't have to be long-winded and thought out. Just give them a little sugar on the tip of their tongue about what you could do with their product. 5, do have clickable links to your social media pages. And so at the bottom, after you finish, make sure you put your Instagram and it's clickable, your TikTok and it's clickable, your website and it's clickable. You want them to be able just to do everything and see everything that they need to see from your email and not have to go look for you on your website. 6, do send them examples of how you've styled or used their pieces in the past. And we talked about this, organically talk about the brand. If you've created content around the brand, Put a link in there and say, hey, by the way, I created this reel and it went viral, and put the link in there so they can click on it and see that you organically love them and talked about them. And 7, do talk about prior work that you've done with other brands. Now, again, this is from a brand manager, and she is saying these are some of the things that brands look for when they're looking for an influencer to work with. I'm going to put a link for pitch templates that are free. Use the pitch templates that I'm giving you and start pitching the brands. Again, the early bird gets the worm. Don't wait for the brands to come to you. Go to the brands. If you have any questions about pitching, comment them down below. And if you have any other content work or brand work you want me to talk about, comment it down below and I will make a video just for you. Thank you for coming on this side of the internet. I know this was short and sweet, just like your pitch email should be. I will see you next time. If you're not following, go ahead and follow. Love you, mean it. Bye.